I think everyone who plays Hypixel Skyblock Ironman can agree that even though it was done very, very well, there could be some things that could either be improved upon or flat out reworked to better fit Ironman and to make it a more fun experience. So today I will be going over 3 problems I personally have with Ironman that I think Hypixel could fix. There's only 2 main ways to make money on Ironman: mining and farming. Now, that's okay. You don't need like a ton of money making methods or anything, and it's fine to have the overlords of the two, if you will. And there's a little bit of progression, you can go from farming to mining, and then mining has a ton of progression inside of that. But what I'm talking about here is those are really the only 2 good ways to make money. There's not many other ways to make a ton of money. The closest thing I can think of is selling off A, dungeon potions, like the health pots that you get, and B, dragon pieces that you craft from the frags that you either get from dungeons or dragons. And that's really it. Those are the 2 and the 2 mains and then the 2 side ways. Now, I think the best way, or the best spot that should be improved at least a little bit, is actually foraging. There's not much reason to forage on Ironman apart from some extra strength if you really need it. But here's a way to improve that. You notice how whenever you level up a skill, you get some stuff. You get strength, you get some other stuff, but you get coins. I think foraging, and this also goes for all Hypixel Skyblock, but especially Ironman, I think foraging should be increased. At level 60 of any skill, you get 1 million coins. At level 50 of any skill, you get, I believe, like 1 to 200,000 coins. I don't remember the exact. But for foraging, I think it should be increased so that foraging 50 gets you 1 million coins. Now, they could just release foraging 60, but even then, they should up the amount, because there's no reason to forage right now. There's 1 tool to get, and that's it. There's no progression, and nothing with wood helps you past early game related stuff. The only late game thing that is somewhat useful is the large storage for 1 minion being the fishing net. That's it. Give some more ways to make money, especially in foraging. Dungeon classes are all very unique, but the way that you progress with them on Ironman is kind of hard. In terms of mage, you are really stuck with Bonzo staff until floor 4, at the point where you're just barely being able to survive the floor. In terms of berserker, there's like not many options. AOTD is basically the only option until floor 5, which is kind of insane. In terms of archer, Juju is really hard to get on Ironman this early on, so you might as well not even deal with archer. And in terms of healer and tank, they're the same as berserker or any other class, so we're not going to talk about those. But the big issue here is, at least with mage and berserker, there are steep hills you need to climb. Once you get Bonzo staff and or AOTD for mage or berserker respectively, you are stuck with that item for a long time. And that might not be that bad of a thing when you think about it, but it's kind of boring to use the same thing over and over again for weeks, months, however long it takes you. In terms of mage, you might be playing floor 4 for a while to get the Spirit Scepter. In terms of floor 5, you're going to be stuck there for a long time, because for a berserker or for an archer, you're going to want full shadow assassin, and for a berserker, you're going to want the livid dagger. A last breath is nice to have. There's a ton of things. And then floor 6, there's really nothing progression wise other than giant sword, I guess. In floor 7, most of the mobs are too strong. You don't need floor 7 gear, but it's hard to do with floor 6 gear. So we need to change dungeons up here a little bit. I think we just need to add a couple more weapons. In terms of archer, maybe add a short bow that's a little weaker than the Juju, but still good enough for the early dungeon floors. Throw it in Ophelia. In terms of Berserker, throw some fun weapons in there. Maybe make cleavers a little bit stronger and actually usable. Because yeah, the Hyper Cleaver is useful for floor 4, but it's expensive. It's 800k. That's a lot for you at that time on an Ironman profile. In terms of Mage, I think Mage needs the most work here, because there's really only 2 items that you're getting before Hyperion. You have Bonzo Staff, you have Spirit Scepter. Now, I'm okay, you don't need like a ton of items or anything, but I think adding one more to, I don't know, say floor 6 would make it so floor 7 isn't such a daunting task. Like, what about making, I don't know, what if you made like something that's similar to the Midas Staff, but, you know, weaker but easier to obtain? Because if you want to go for 100 million Midas Staff, you need 100 million coins. That is a ton for an Ironman profile. So, yeah. Hypixel, please look at dungeons and maybe change some stuff up to make Ironman a little bit more fun in terms of dungeons. Booster cookies are an essential part of Hypixel Skyblock because it gives you a lot of buffs that just help you too much. In terms of the raw cookie, it gives you magic find, it gives you extra skill XP, and on top of all that, it gets you bits. And with bits, you can buy things like God Pots, which you already know how good God Pots are. They give you every good potion effect in the game. Now, the issue with all of this is cookies can be expensive, and that's fine, but I almost feel as if they're too expensive. They're, I think, like 3.5 mil at the time of recording this. Now, why is that a problem? Well, this always changes. Ironman is meant to be unaffected from the economy and other players, but now that we have the bazaar to buy cookies, it's affected by other players, which doesn't make any sense. Now, if you were to ask me, I personally think the most fair price is 2 million coins, because it's right at the brink where it's annoying to get, but not necessarily hard, and you know, what you're working for is very much worth it. But 3 to 4 million coins is just too much. Now, how would they go about setting a fixed price on this thing? Well, a simple thing they could do would be adding cookies to the NPC where you buy gems and stuff. Now, the only issue with this would be that regular profiles could do it, but they could just add a different NPC for Bazaar, or for Ironman, excuse me, to buy cookies. Thank you for watching to the end of the video. If you liked the video, please leave a like, subscribe if you want any more content. Leave a comment with any things you guys have problems with. And yeah, with all that being said, thank you for watching the video, and sayonara.